speaker is Jamie Ginta. Her mother was a long-time patient of many of us here at Upstate, and we grew extremely fond of her over the years, and Jamie's going to talk to us now.
God bless you.
My name is Jamie Junta, and my mom was Terry Junta. While attending the longevity walk in September, I was asked to speak here tonight. Being the type of person I am, I couldn't say no, and I felt much honored for being asked. I'm here to honor my mother's life and her journey. She touched so many people's lives because she always had a positive outlook on everything. She was very persistent and lived her life to the fullest. She was a best friend, a sister, an aunt, a mother, and her greatest accomplishment, a nana. She had so much love for everyone and always looked for the best in people. She would walk into a dull room and light it up with her beautiful blue eyes and her magical smile. You only had to meet her once to fall in love with her. She was the most caring person anyone has ever met, and throughout her battle became the strongest. Throughout everything, she was always the one helping other people get through it. She was never negative and always kept hope alive. Terry was so fond of her friends. They had lots of laughs and great trips. She always told me that she was so thankful to have such great girlfriends who were always there for her. One of my fondest memories with my mom is the moment I had my son and I saw her smile. She always wanted a grandbaby, and she finally had one. After prying him from my arms, she held him so close and kissed his forehead and said, "I've been waiting for you, Antoine." She was always so proud and showed him off to everybody. Every night, she would rock him to sleep and said that was her duty. Memories like this, I will never forget. Terry's battle started in July of 2001. She went to the doctors because she felt some pressure in her chest. Being that she was a non-smoker, they treated her for bronchitis. When she wasn't getting better, the doctors did an x-ray and found the worst news ever. This not only shocked the doctors, but everybody in her life. She had lung cancer. They caught it very early, and she went into surgery on September 10th, 2001. They removed the top lobe of her right lung. She went through some chemo and then went into remission. She was cancer-free for almost 5 years. Then, after taking a routine scan, they found some sad news again. The cancer had come back, but now in both lungs. There were too many spots, which made surgery out of the question. She started on a chemo pill, which helped her keep the cancer under control, but after 2 years, the cancer started growing again. So they started her on a different chemo, this time through an IV. After a couple scans, they seen the cancer was stable, not growing, but not growing and not shrinking. After about 2 years on this drug, she was noticing she was having a harder time breathing. After bringing this to the doctor's attention, they noticed some fluid around her lungs and the tumors were growing again. She had a catheter put in her lung, which got drained every night to empty the fluid, and she was put on a new chemo. In March of this year, she took a very positive trip to Sloan Kettering in New York City. She met with Dr. Miller, who told her they had studies that she would fit right into because she had a very rare mutation of cells in her lungs. She came back home with excitement for the next step. Unfortunately, as time went on, she became weaker and her breathing became worse. the end of May, she was admitted into the hospital due to her breathing. She had fluid which was drained from her heart and started feeling better. She asked to see her grandson, so that Sunday I brought him up for only about 15 minutes. He's only 2, so everybody knows a 2-year-old's attention span isn't that long at all. When I went up the next morning, she was like nothing had ever happened. I said to her that I was so thankful she was feeling better, and she told me it was because of my son. She told me she loved me and my brother very much, but she was not ready to say goodbye to him. She did a complete 360 and was home a week later. Her birthday was August 23rd, and we threw her a party. She kept saying thank you and how special it was. 2 days later, she was back in the hospital due to her breathing again. This time, they couldn't figure out why, except for the cancer progressing. I think she knew the time was upon us. As I sat with her the day before, she told me she was so lucky to have 2 of the best children and the most outstanding grandson. In all reality, we were the ones lucky to have her. Throughout her battle, she never asked why, just said, "What's the next step?" She never gave up and never lost hope. She fought 10 years, and her battle ended August 30th of this year. She stood by her doctors, and I have to say, Dr. Graziano was great. She loved him. He was always willing to try new things and was on top of everything. He became more than a doctor to her, but a friend she could count on. There were so many things that kept her going, but one thing she lived by was the saying, "Never lose hope." This meant so much to her, and we will continue to spread the phrase. She used to say to me all the time, "I don't want the cancer to go away because it's a part of me now. I just want it to go away a little bit so I could breathe a little better." This right there goes to show you what kind of person she was. She knew in the long run cancer would get to her, but she never lost hope of waking up and living for the next day. Living with hope is so important, and so many people will hear they have cancer and that hope will be taken away. It's not just hoping the cancer will go away, but it's the hope to live every day to the fullest, with or without cancer. We all need to get up each day with hope in our hearts, as my mom did. Our hope is that her life taught everyone she touched, from family to friends to medical personnel and fellow patients, that hope is essential to living. Each of us demonstrates the hope in our lives by the way we live each day. Sloan Kettering had a quote that went like this: "What is hope? All of the forces that make for a better world, none is as powerful as hope. With hope, one can think, one can work, and one can dream. If you have hope, you have everything." This just goes to show, never lose hope. I can only pray that each of you leaves here today knowing what hope really is, and that hope isn't just a word, but a feeling and a way of life. So remember, in the long run, no matter how hard or bad something is, never lose hope, because my mom never did. One of my friends shared a poem with me, and it said everything that I'm feeling. Some of you might know it, and some of you might not. I want to read it because it touched me, and I couldn't have said it any better. It's called "If Tears Could Build a Stairway." If tears could build a stairway and thoughts of memory lane, I'd walk right up to heaven and bring you home again. No farewell words were spoken, no time to say goodbye. You were gone before I knew it, and only God knows why. My heart's still active in sadness, and secret tears still flow. What it meant to lose you, no one can ever know. But I know now you want us to mourn for you no more, to remember all the happy times. Life still has so much in store. Since you will never be forgotten, I pledge to you today, a hollow place within my heart is where you'll always stay. Thank you.